The Nintendo Switch version of Mortal Kombat 1 had a brief moment in the public consciousness for its compromised visuals. I saw the screenshots and the articles, and I still bought it day one on Switch. And I'd do it again, for a few reasons. The first reason cuts to the core of what Mortal Kombat is. I've been playing these games since I first played Mortal Kombat 2 in the early 90s. No, not this Mortal Kombat 2. This Mortal Kombat 2. MK is a series with deep arcade roots, and like most players, I experienced those games mostly in the form of home console ports. And we spent our days marveling at these home versions, which did a good enough job at capturing the look and feel of these mind-blowing games. And these versions are still a delight to revisit. Now, there hasn't been a Mortal Kombat game in arcades since 1997, and since then new entries have been released directly on home consoles. However, a few years ago, I had a taste of that old home port magic once again when I bought Mortal Kombat 11 on Switch. I'd already spent a lot of time with the Xbox version, but I got that familiar feeling of breaking down all the technical tricks they must have used to get this game running on the hardware. This novelty, combined with the infinite convenience of the Switch over every other console, led me to logging much more time into this graphically inferior version than the beefy Xbox version. Playing a game on a Super Nintendo was far more convenient than going to the arcade. And now, dedicated consoles like Xbox and PlayStation are kind of a pain compared to the versatility of Switch. Going back to playing on a device tethered to a single television was unappealing. There's also an added joy I get from games that are punching way above their weight. Having the most dazzling graphics on the latest hardware is cool, but running a scaled-back version of those graphics on a toaster is so much cooler to me. The latest Mortal Kombat can't even be played on the last generation PS4 or Xbox One, and those are already more powerful than the Switch. And the Switch version didn't launch in a great state, but they've already patched it into something that looks good enough, and that's impressive. What we're looking at is essentially a PS3 game running on a PS1, and that is interesting. Maybe witnessing 30 years of the story of video games being who has the best graphics has left me disillusioned by the whole thing. But I'll take interesting over dazzling any day of the week. And the last time they tried something like this was when they ported Mortal Kombat 3 to Sega Master System. And the new MK on Switch is faring a whole lot better. And the third reason I bought Mortal Kombat 1 on Switch is because it's a cause worth supporting. Not everybody can afford to drop $400 on a PS5 or Xbox Series X, and they should still be able to play cool new games. Gaming culture at large has always had a, let's say, troubled relationship with folks without expendable income. Low-cost console alternatives like Xbox Series S or even Sega's 32X back in the 90s are treated as punchlines despite being a real solution to allow poorer folks to still get the newest games. At a time where accessibility options in games are becoming more important, there's shockingly little thought given to accessibility for people who don't have the means to replace their PlayStation every 5 years. When Mortal Kombat was an arcade game, it only cost 50 cents for anyone to play. So saying now you must be this rich to play seems contrary to the whole arcade spirit of fighting games. So anyway, you should buy MK1 on Switch. Yes, it was bad, and it's still not perfect, but it's getting better. And let's face it, the Switch is a Game Boy, and Mortal Kombat on Game Boy used to be much worse than this.